All right, with more on the shutdown, let's bring in, as we do each day, NBC Washington correspondent Alice Barr. Alice, action has been taking place in the Senate today, but it's just one senator. Talk about Oregon Democrat Jeff Merkley and what he's trying to accomplish.
Yeah, it's a one-man show. It's fortunate to see some kind of action, as you put it, on the floor, but not the kind that's going to get the government reopened. This is Senator Jeff Merkley, a Democrat from Oregon. He's been speaking for going on to 15 hours now. At this moment, he's just yielded the floor to one of his Democratic colleagues, Senator Cory Booker, or not yielded the floor so much as just turned it over to him to ask him some questions. This is something he's been doing periodically to at least give himself a chance to kind of take a breath. But he's still holding the position, and he's going for as long as he possibly can. Again, it's been about 15 hours now. We not too long ago saw Senator Cory Booker set a record at 25 hours of speaking nonstop on the Senate floor. And what Senator Merkley has been doing is calling to have the government reopened, and only within the context of addressing this healthcare crisis that Democrats keep hammering and have, refused to open the government with some kind of short-term funding bill that does not address the spike in premiums that we're expecting. And they've been pointing out that people are starting to get notifications this week that could give them an idea of how high their premiums may be if these Obamacare subsidies are not extended. So that's one thing that he's highlighting. But he's also just been speaking at length, clearly at length, about the Trump administration policies that he objects to strongly. He's been framing this as, a protest against what he calls the grave threat to democracy that he says President Trump poses. He's been saying that he is shredding the Constitution. He's been referencing President Trump's repeated calls to have people that he views as a political enemy prosecuted, and the fact that the Department of Justice has now pursued prosecutions against a number of those foes. And just really similar to a lot of what we heard in the No Kings rallies over the weekend, it's essentially now a protest that has taken over the Senate floor. Important to note that he's not actually holding up any kind of vote that would reopen the government. There are nominations underway, but no business that would reopen the government is on hold because of this speech.
Got it. All right. President Trump yesterday met with the Senate Republicans and said he would love to meet with the Democrats. How realistic is that to happen now?
I mean, he said that, but he also said he has one caveat, which is that they have to reopen the government. And this, again, is in the context of Senator Chuck Schumer, the top Democrat in the Senate, said that the president should meet now with him and with the top Democrat in the House, Hakeem Jeffries, to speak about, again, negotiating a deal that includes these health care provisions. And President Trump has said he's happy to talk about health care. He doesn't, Republicans recognize that this is going to be a political problem if they do have, millions of Americans who are seeing healthcare costs, healthcare premiums double in some instances. So they, I think, understand it's an issue that they have to address, but they are standing firm that has to happen after the government reopens. And he says he's not going to meet until that happens. All
right. We got about 30 seconds left. Alice, it seems like there's going to be a breaking point. There could be a breaking point next week, November 1st. What's going to happen at that point?
That is the day that open enrollment begins for Obamacare, and that is when Democrats are counting on the pressure to really mount on Republicans when people start getting their open enrollment forms and really see very clearly what their new premium costs are, how much more they may have to pay for health insurance. And, we've been hearing from people saying that it's more than their mortgage and they're going to have to make serious decisions. So they're counting on that being a leverage point of kind of the public getting involved. We'll see if that comes to be true and if that makes a shift here.
Yeah, but we're watching closely. Alice, thanks so much.